Alright, we're live, we're live. Hold up, guys. Alright, we're live, we're live. Let me go to my main camera. Oh, actually, no wonder. It felt a little awkward because I usually go with mic testing. That's it, we're live. And as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on more Asyncio wait slash, I think it was, I forgot. What was the topic again? Asyncio, async, and await. It is currently the day 9 for my AI engineering for 365 days series, where last stream I was working on 30 instructional based questions, although I did stop at the first 9 questions. Although today I'm going to be working on the rest, let's say 21 questions. So let's rush the process and move on to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, and now here, let me go ahead and say something like, let's say I'm live exclamation. And yeah, guys, this is a brand new chat because I'm trying to use new chats every single stream now, unless I really think that the previous chat did not really consume as many tokens. Excuse me, guys. Speaking of which, hey there. There we go. Okay, so let's quit all the extra stuff. We're 2 minutes, and I'm gonna be saving a lot of time here. So, question 9. You've already crushed questions 1 through 8. Okay. For the question 9, a retry system, write an async program that simulates a retry system. If a task fails, it keeps trying until it doesn't succeed. Requirements, create an async function that fetches data. Create an async function, fetch data, that takes a parameter attempt. Wait 1 second. If attempt is less than 3, prints attempt of my attempt fails and raises an exception. If attempt is 3 more than prints data fetch successfully and returns. Creates a async function fetch with retry that starts attempt 1, keeps calling fetch data in a loop, catches the exception, and increments attempt, stops when it succeeds. Attempt 1 failed, attempt 2 failed, data fetched successfully. I see. Okay, and yeah, as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and get this in the order window. Speaking of which, my mouse is too fast. Oh, guys, I'm trying to see how this DPI thing works. So I basically have a DPI button in my mouse that is set to 3 different settings. Interesting. Okay, speaking of which, I am gonna open my Visual Studio as well. Since I am planning to play Valorant on my streams for my gaming channel, I'm gonna just go ahead and get used to high sensitivity because I am a high sensitivity player. That said, let me go all the way here, get the instructions in another window just so I can read them while I work on my questions. There we go. Now, to work on my questions, since my topic is based on the async, I'm going to go ahead and import my asyncio, my async. And then I'm going to go ahead and create an async function called fetch data that takes a parameter of attempt. So I'm going to go ahead and create an async. Says a function which is also known as a coroutine function that is going to be called something like fetch underscore data. Okay, that requires attempt as a parameter. Okay, and then waits 1 second. Waits 1 second. If attempt is less than 3, prints attempt failed and raises an exception. So we're gonna go with something like await. And await is a keyword that can only work inside of a coroutine function. Therefore, I'm gonna go with await asyncio dot sleep for 1 second. And then once we're done with that, if attempt is less than 3, prints attempt failed and raises an exception. I'm going to add an if statement that says, if my attempt is less than 3, okay, if attempt is less than 3, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go ahead and print, let's say something like attempt failed. Hold on, guys, this is so annoying, that thing that just pops up. Let's go with attempt. Number, my attempts is variable, failed, okay, and then we're gonna go with dot dot dot. And since I am actually trying to add a variable inside of a print statement, I'm gonna go ahead and change this to like an f string. Okay, and raises an exception. Okay, let's go with something like raise exception. I won't specify what exception, but I'm gonna say something like something went wrong. Okay, perfect. Next up, once we're done with that, If attempt is more than 3 prints, data fetched successfully and returns. Okay, let's go with something like else if it's not less than 3, of course it's going to be greater than 3. I'm going to go with else print an f string that says something like, well, not an f string. I'm just going to go with data fetched successfully. There we go. With an exclamation and returns. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and return. Next up, creates an async function, okay, called fetch with retry that starts attempt at 1, keeps calling fetch data in a loop, catches the exception and increments attempt, stops when it succeeds. Okay. Hint try except works perfectly inside async functions. A while true loop with a break on success works cleanly here. Raise exception manually triggers a failure. Okay, for the third step, I guess let's go ahead and create another async function. So I'm going to create another coroutine function called fetch with retry. Let's go with something like fetch with retry. Okay, which is, let's see, that starts at attempt 1. Okay, it does not require any parameter. Bro, can you do it full screen? Watching here. Actually, if you guys are in my vertical stream, make sure to move on to my horizontal stream. That's where I do display my window in landscape mode. Many of you guys don't really know that about if you guys watch my vertical streams. Let me check. Oh, you are in the vertical stream. Okay, so move on to the horizontal stream. That is in my channel. Like, let me show it to you guys real quick. Let me just go ahead and open my channel real quick. Then let's go there. I'm gonna grab plot here just so I can show my window. There we go. Okay, so basically, if you guys are in the vertical stream, you guys can't really see this video and PC feels kind of small. There we go. So I have 2 different streams in my channel. If you guys do click my channel, one is the vertical stream where you guys see it in portrait mode as a YouTube short. The other one is in the as a horizontal stream, which you guys can see in a landscape mode. That is like a regular long form video. So if you guys do click this, this is my entire video right now, or my entire display right now. Video in PC feels kind of small. I see. Okay, that said, let's read the next instructions. Create an async function fetch with retry that starts at attempt 1. That starts at attempt 1, keeps calling fetch data in a loop. Isn't fetch okay, and returns. So I think I should return my fetch data, right? No, I think I should return my attempt. There we go. So I return my attempt number. I don't know. Maybe if I go back there. There we go. Okay, I think this return would be the best. I'm gonna go ahead and have an await variable. I mean attempt. And guys, I'm not warmed up just yet. Let's set. Yo, done, let's go. Okay, let's see. So creates an async function with fetch retry that starts at attempt 1. Create an async function fetch with a retry that starts at attempt 1. Okay, so my attempt is going to be equal to 1. Let's go with something like attempt equals to 1. And then keeps calling fetch data in a loop. So let's go with a while loop. So we're going to go with something like while. Here's the thing, should it be while true? Okay, that is a pretty nice thing. So while true creates a fetch stuff, keeps calling fetch data in a, oh, I see. We're gonna call our function here. While true, call our fetch data as this function that requires an attempt function. Okay, I see. And keeps calling fetch data in a loop that catches the exception and increments attempt, stops when it succeeds. Okay, so in a while loop, let's go ahead and try. So I'm gonna go ahead and try my fetch data. Whoops, what up guys? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and try, and I will be accepting an exception as error. Okay, so I'm gonna accept exception as error, and then let's see. Okay, stops when it succeeds. Stops when it succeeds. So we're gonna try that. And then let's see. So I'm gonna say, okay, keeps calling. So we're gonna say attempt one failed, attempt two failed. Okay, we call our function accept exception as error. Da-da-da. Okay, so keeps calling fetch data in a loop, catches the exception and increments attempt. So if I catch an exception, I gotta increment my attempt. So let's go with something like attempt plus equals to 1 stops when it succeeds. So it stops when it succeeds. I think it should. I'm gonna go here. Else break. There we go. You know, I could just try it. So if no exception happens, I could break easily. Okay, I guess let's try running it and then expected output, blah blah blah. All right, let's run the program real quick now. So I'm gonna go ahead and firstly, this is just gonna be a regular return. Or should it be return attempt? That is gonna be my attempt. Okay, you know what? Let's try it. I'm gonna go ahead and create a main function. Let's go with something like define main. Or well, let's go with an async function because I do want to use the await keyword. Okay, so we're creating a coroutine function called main that does not require any parameter. Excuse me, guys. Although it does require my fetch data. Okay, it does require my fetch data as this function. And it requires my fetch with retries this function. You know what? I think fetch with retry is the only function that I might need here. And then we're gonna go ahead. This is gonna be await. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and go with asyncio.run. I want to run my main function. Let's hit Control S, Control Alt N. Oh wow, we run into a bunch of errors. Maybe there is no await here. Hold on. Wow, why is there a bunch of error fetch with retry? Missing one positional argument. Oh, I forgot to add an attempt. Let's go with 1. Okay, so runtime warning, enable trace object allocation. Okay, we need an await. I was right there. Okay, so wait, we still get that stuff. Did I hit Control S? Control S, Control Alt N. Okay, runtime coroutine fetch was never awaited. Our coroutine of fetch was never awaited, so we await asyncio.sleep. Oh, wait, my bad, guys. Hold on, my bad. I forgot one thing. We're gonna go with await asyncio.gather. I wanna go ahead and gather my fetch with retry, this function that requires a parameter of 1. Now if I run the program, one-time error, why did I still get an error, guys? Hold on. This is fetch with retry and then blah blah blah. Those are 3, that is 3. That requires attempt and that requires attempt. You know what? I think I need to call my freaking fetch with reach my fetch function my fetch data as this function as well. Let's paste this. Okay, let's go with fetch data. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna go with Control Z and I'm gonna go ahead and paste this. Okay, I may return a value. This is gonna be 1 second. Now let's go with Control S, Control Alt N. Exception, something went wrong in line 8. I mean, I know what's going wrong here. I know what's going on here. You know what? I guess let's go with Control A, Control C. Within fetch, with a retry, you call fetch, I think. You got the await. I think you forgot the await. I did add the await though. Like, there is no asyncio functions here. Ooh. What exactly are you working on? I'm basically working on a few instructional-based questions for asyncio, await, and async functions. That said, I'm just getting warmed up right now. This is question 9 where I left. Let me say something like, since I messed up. Okay, and then let's send it. There we go. Okay, and then let's see that. Let's go all the way up here. Alright guys, we're still warming up here. Last stream I did work on the first 9 questions. This stream my head is not really on the programming base right now. No await. Also, we were missing await. Bug 2 in your main function. Fetch with retry already calls us stuff. Alright. Fetched. So it's okay, it was basically oh, it's an asyncio function. I mean, it's a coroutine function, of course it needs an await. And then fetch, so it already calls the stuff. So we don't really need gather. So it was basically typos, that's all. Oh wow, it was typos. What the hell? Guys, this is the worst thing here. Like it shows all massive bugs. Told you so, dude. Guys, I actually, you know what? I've worked so much with this last stream. I didn't know that coroutine functions always leads in a wait. Oh god, that was kind of awful. But yeah, I guess I won't make that mistake again. There we go. Let's go ahead and paste it and say, I see someone from my chat told me that I can't believe that I forgot that coroutine functions needed and wait. That said, can I get the next question now? Okay, guys, this is starting to get interesting because there are two kinds of there are two ways that I actually make mistakes. First way is when I make mistakes and I don't really know the topic. That's the worst kind of mistake. The second mistake is when I make a mistake but I do know the topic. That is the fun kind of mistakes. Why does async and async what is async and async used for? Basically, let's think about it like when a regular function runs, or let's give an AI as example only. For example, pretend that I'm an or not an AI. Let's give a waiters as example. Pretend that I'm a waiter right now. I'm taking an order for a customer. That customer gives me an order. I go all the way back to the kitchen and give those people the order and wait for them to give me the meal that the, let's say, the customer ordered. Once the meal is done, I grab that meal and I give it to the customer. Then I move on to the next customer, ask for the order again, go and repeat the same process. It gets a little tedious. The thing that async and async actually does is that I'm going to be getting or requesting an order from my customer. As soon as I get that order, I'm going to give it to the people in the kitchen. And then while they're working on that order, I'm going to move on to the other customer, get the content from them, give it back to the kitchen, go back and all that stuff. Once my first order is complete, I'm going to grab that order and give it to the customer, if that makes any sense. That is just a more effective way to that's just more effective in general rather than waiting to get a response and then moving on to the next question, because AIs, they request many, or should I say separate let's say databases at the same time to like get a kind of answer. I'm not that good with it. This is just what this does. That said, once you fix the typo, fetch, fine. Fetch. Okay, I think my typos are oh, there we go. And guys, I gotta like work on my freaking explaining these topics. I feel like I explain it way too fast. Done. Okay, and I said that we gotta like move on to the next part. Let's see. Almost. Oh my gosh. Can we move on to the next question? I want to be done with all three. I will be more careful with my typos from the next chat. Actually, from the next question. There we go, guys. This is one annoying thing about Claude. It's so picky for stuff. Funny thing is, I literally had typos while literally saying that I will be careful or mindful about me typing. That said, question number 10, async timeout system. I've got to write an async program that cancels a task if it takes too long. Requirements: create an async function, also called a coroutine function, called long underscore task that prints task started, waits 5 seconds, then prints task finished, creates an async function called main that tries to run long underscore task with 3 seconds timeout using asyncio.wait underscore for. Okay, I need to know what does the wait underscore for really do. You should use asyncio to call an actual API. For example, try to talk to Sensei with this API from your code. Oh, actually, yeah, I think my roadmap does really have that stuff as well. But firstly, I'm just working on the basics, and then I will be working on more projects. And I think the fifth or sixth topic on my roadmap is working with LLM models. Before that, I gotta learn Git and GitHub as well. That said, if the task times out, catch the exception. Alrighty, wait, let me say I have not worked with the wait underscore for method, and also and also the timeout error. Can you explain them to me first? Then we can work on the question. By we, I actually meant me. Let's send it. Okay, now let's see. Okay, good call. And never skip the teaching. That's exactly the right instinct. Let's break it down. Asyncio.wait underscore force this method. Sometimes takes too long. So sometimes a task takes too long. In real apps, you cannot wait forever. You need to cut it off. That's what wait underscore for does. Syntax await asyncio.wait underscore for my coroutine function and my timeout says quark in seconds. It runs the coroutine, but if it takes longer than n seconds, it cancels it automatically. Await asyncio.wait underscore for long task timeout 3. If long task takes more than 3 seconds, cancelled. By the way, it's not pronounced asyncio, it's asyncio, which is short for asynchronous, meaning doing more than one thing at once, input, output. Oh, I see. Hold on, let's go with something like English to Japanese. I just use the English for Japanese basically for a regular translator. Let me start off, kind of copy this stuff here. Yeah, I usually ask the pronunciations. Like, I try to get my pronunciation here, but they might have it wrong.
Asyncio.
Oh, Asyncio. There we go. Or Asyncio. And then that is asynchronous.
Asyncio.
Asyncio. It's so hard to get that name in check. That said, we go with something like asyncio.wait for a long task, timeout 3 seconds. Asyncio.timeout error. When wait for cancels a task, it raises asyncio.timeout error. You catch it exactly like any other exception. Try await asyncio.wait for coroutine function and a quark, except asyncio.timeout error prints task timed out. Putting it together, define main, yada yada. I see. Now, the concept is straightforward. Wait underscore for wraps your coroutine, sets timer, and blows up if it's too slow. Timeout is your signal that happened now. Okay, well, I guess let's write the question 10. I'm gonna go ahead and get it in the other window just so I can read the question as a reference. Okay, so question 10, I'm gonna delete this again. We're gonna go ahead and import my Asyncio since I am gonna be working with it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create a coroutine function called long underscore task that does not require any parameter. However, I will be printing something. I'm going to be requiring a print statement that says task started, dot dot dot. Okay, and then I need to wait for 5 seconds. So I'm going to go with something like await my Asyncio. Okay, Asyncio.sleep is going to be 5 seconds. And then create an async function. So we're going to go ahead and create another async function. Okay, called something like main. It's also a coroutine function. which is gonna go ahead and tries to run the long task with a 3 seconds timeout. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and try my await, my Asyncio dot wait for. Okay, so when calling my function, I want to call my long underscore tasks as coroutine. Okay, and I want to wait for, let's say, 3 seconds. If the function was longer than 3 seconds, I want to go ahead and accept a timeout error. There we go. If it was longer than 3 seconds, I want to accept a timeout error. Okay, we wait for that time. Waits for 5 seconds, and then prints task finished. Oh, I forgot to print task finished. There we go. Okay, and now we have a timer error that says something like, okay, that waits for this thing. Task timed out. Okay, so we're gonna print something like task timed out. There we go. Okay, that is the expected output. There. Okay, now let's go ahead and run our function. I'm going to go with asyncio dot run. I want to go ahead and run my main function. Syntax error, invalid syntax, no colons. Oh, guys, I'm such an idiot. Task started. Task timed out because it was 3 seconds. What if I had this to be 6 seconds? This is going to say task finished in a whopping 6 seconds. Nice. You know what? I'm trying to see what this actually means. I'm trying to understand Asyncio, including generators, context managers, and decorators. Yeah. Let's paste it and say done. Let's move on. All right, chop, 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 guys, chop, chop. And let me know how fast can you guys actually answer these questions. Well, it's not a real world, so you get the incorrect pronunciation in Google. It's async IO, and IO is pronounced separately. Well, no matter, pronouncing does not matter, code does, it actually does make sense. So async IO is that IO is pronounced separately, so async IO. We import async IO. Is it actually async IO? Wait, one quick note before question 11. You wrote timeout, and since you're on Python 13.12, it actually works because Python made them the same in 13.11 plus, but get into the habit of writing asyncio dot timeout error because in older code bases and on other machines it will break. Be explicit always. Okay, so we gotta go with asyncio dot timeout error. Question 11. Let's see if you how fast can you guys actually answer these. What you may call it? Solve this question. Running tasks concurrency with asyncio dot create underscore task new concept incoming read before your code. Asyncio dot create task schedules a coroutine to run immediately in the background without awaiting on spot. Unlike gather, you create the tasks first, then await them later, giving you more control. Task equal. Alright, what does the create task do? Now write requirements, create an async coroutine function called brew underscore coffee that waits 3 seconds and prints coffee ready. Well, I learned this way back, so I already know all this, but it's fun to watch someone else run. Guys, that actually sounds kind of cool. That said, creates an async function called toast underscore bread that waits 2 seconds and prints toast ready. In main function, use async io dot create task for both, then await both tasks. Total time should be 3 seconds and not 5 seconds. Hence, create both. Okay, firstly, what does the create underscore task do? Okay, firstly, before I work on the question, what does the create underscore task says Method do question mark. Okay, let me see what the method does real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and send that real quick. Good, you're asking for coding async io dot create task. Remember, gather it runs coroutine simultaneously. It does, but it starts and awaits them all at once. You don't get them individually yet because it's asynchronous, not should I forgot what was the other word where it waits for one task to be complete and then goes to the second task and the third task. Dude, I just got two unskippable ads. YouTube is so annoying, guys. That's actually annoying. Like, I hate it when they actually give those things. That said, and gives you back a task object you can use later. Task equals to async io dot create underscore task some coroutine. So that is a coroutine function. That task is already running the moment you created. You're not waiting. It's just going in the background while your code keeps moving. Gather versus create. Await async io dot gather task 1 task 2 create underscore task start now await later when you choose task 1 dot create task 2 dot create task await task 1 await task 2. Now wait for task 1, now wait for task 2. Why does this matter? With create underscore task you can do other things between creating and awaiting. Long download, I'm doing other things. Oh. Okay, now question 11. Oh god, guys, this is going to be a bit complex. Okay, let's see. I hope that I don't mess this stuff up. So question 11's references there. I'm firstly going to go ahead and let's say import my async ios function because I'm going to use it. Okay, concept incoming. Async io.create schedules a coroutine to run immediately in the background without awaiting it on the spot. Requirements, create an async function. So we're going to go ahead and create an async function called, actually a coroutine function called brew coffee that waits 3 seconds. Asyncio.sleep is going to be something like 3 seconds. I mean, async io.sleep is going to be 3 seconds. What happens if I go with lowercase? Does that work? That's much better, actually. Okay, so I wait for 3 seconds and then we're gonna go ahead and print something like coffee ready. There we go. Okay, let's go with something like ready. Okay, perfect. And the next up, create an async function called toast underscore bread. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's say create, whoa. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create another async function called toast underscore bread. Let's see. That requires, I mean, that waits for 2 seconds. So async io.sleep, let's go with something like 2 seconds. And then it prints something like toast ready. There we go. Okay, and then in our main function, so let's create another async sys coroutine function called main. I think I spelled this wrong. There we go. Now this is where the new topic starts. Use async io.create task. Create underscore tasks is method. And yeah, I know I gotta add a wait here. Since I'm working with an async ios function, for both, then wait both tasks. Total time should be 3 seconds and not 5 seconds. Okay, so we're gonna go with something like, I'm gonna go ahead and brew my coffee, and then let's go ahead and toast my bread. And then Control S. Wait, actually, I'm gonna go with asyncio.run. I want to run my main function. Now, oh, we get an error. That's incorrect. Should I just go with one? Enable. Why? Courtney's sleep was never awaited. I did await. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Hold up, guys. My bad, my bad, my bad. My bad, my bad. Hold up, guys. There we go. Rookie mistake. And then let's go with toast underscore bread. You don't await create underscore task. That's the whole point. You don't await create. You don't await create underscore task. I thought all asyncio methods must be awakened. Okay, task 1, create await task 1, then await task 2. Create both tasks before awaiting either one. So should it be something like await task 1, which is going to be equal to brew coffee? And then we're going to go with await task 2, which is going to be equal to toast underscore bread. And then I'm going to go ahead and let's say call my variables task 1 and then task 2. You await that task. You await that task. Create a task returns a task. Create task returns. Oh, wait. Create task returns a task. You await that task. Wait, what was the syntax? Oh. Task 1 equals to. Hold up, guys. Task 1 equals to. There we go. Okay, so task 1 equals to asyncio.create task. This is going to be my brew coffee. Whoops. Why is my mouse sensitivity so freaking high? Okay, and then we're gonna go with task 2. There we go. Let's go with task 2 equals to asyncio dot. Oh, this is in that case. This is like the pickle and unpickle module for serialization. When you use the dump method in a file, you dump the stuff in the file. You don't really need to catch it, but then when you try to, let's say, load it, you gotta save that in a variable. I think this is the same as that. Then I'm gonna add a pair of parentheses. How did I add all those quotes? Now we hit Control S, Control Alt N. Still waiting. That was more than 5 seconds, right? Await task 1, await task 2. There. Now if I run the program, toast ready, coffee ready. Oh wow. Okay, this was a really fun question actually. Hold on guys, let me just go up here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. Okay, let's space this and say it works, although I got helped by my chat basically through the entire program. So for question, excuse me guys, for question 12, can I get a similar question just with a different variation question mark? There we go. Let's go ahead and send it real quick. Okay, yeah, because I think I got help, but I understand it now. You didn't await the tasks. That actually does make sense. That said, async code is fun, but it's the root of 95% of the bugs, guys. That is actually really fun, though. Okay, question 11. Redo. Create an async function called boil water that waits for 4 seconds, print water boiled. Create an async function for chop underscore vegetables that waits for 2 seconds, then prints vegetables chopped. Create an async function for fry underscore eggs, waits 3 seconds, then prints egg fried. In the main function, use asyncio.asyncio.create tasks for all 3, then awaits all 3. Okay, I think I don't even need the instructions. Actually, I do need the instructions because I already forgot the coroutine functions that I need. Okay, let me start off by importing async syncio, and then we're going to create an async function or a coroutine function called boil underscore water. There we go. That is going to go ahead and wait. So I'm going to go with await async io dot sleep for 4 seconds. Water takes 4 seconds to boil, guys. In what world does that actually happen? I wish it really did happen here. It'd be so much easier to make spaghettis. I'm gonna go with something like print water boiled. There we go. And then we're gonna go with something like create an async function called chop vegetables that waits 2 seconds, then prints vegetable chopped. Okay, let's go with an async function called chop vegetables that awaits for let's say that sleeps for 2 seconds, and then it's gonna go ahead and print vegetables chopped. Okay, perfect. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create a third function. Okay, I guess we have 3 coroutine functions. This is gonna be called fry underscore eggs. Guys, eventually in the future, when like everything is gonna be automated, is this how we're gonna go ahead and say the AIs to start cooking for us? It's like call the boil water function, call the chop vegetable function, call actually coroutine function, and then call the async coroutine function. I mean, the fried eggs is coroutine function. It's just gonna wait for 3 seconds. There we go. And then the AIs are basically just gonna be cooking for us. Okay, let's go with something like eggs fried. But if I'm not wrong, it's fried. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, I don't think that that would be that easy, because to actually lift those heavy things, unless you don't really have a really good equipment, you can't really lift the should I say heavy weights. I mean, there are like cranes and everything that can lift heavy weights, but they are pretty big and heavy as well. I gotta fact check that stuff, to be honest, because that doesn't seem that hard to do. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and define a main function. Wait for this. Add an extra task where you need to guess the order of the prints before you run the code. It will help you understand what actually happens. Actually, I might try that for like the next question, or like I'm pretty sure by the end of the 30 questions here, that is the task that's going to actually be there. Because I said to get the tasks progressively more complicating. That said, I'm going to go ahead and create my task 1, which is going to be equal to my async io dot create underscore task. And hold up, guys, I think there's like some background noises. And what is wrong with my webcam? Hold up. Already mic testing, mic testing. Alright, guys, there was some background noises. That's let's see. So I create a task, and then it requires a coroutine function, which is called something like boil water. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and create our task 2, that is going to be equal to asyncio dot chop vegetables chop underscore, oh wait, my bad, dot create underscore task, which is going to be requiring chop vegetables, this coroutine function. Lastly, my task 3 is going to be equal to, let's go with asyncio dot create underscore task that requires a parameter of, let's say, fry eggs. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and await task 1, and then I'm gonna go ahead and await task 2, and lastly, let's go ahead and await task 3. Okay, and then lastly, I'm gonna go with something like asyncio dot run. I want to go ahead and run my main function. Control S, Control Alt N. Let's see, in total it should be taking 4 seconds. Vegetables chopped, eggs fried, water boiled. Perfect. Okay, I guess let's go with Control A, Control C. Copy that. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Claude up here again, and then let's paste it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and say something like done. Okay, then let's go ahead and send it. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go there. There we go. Okay, that should help. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All you ever need is a single line, blah, blah, blah. Question 2, create task with return values. Quick new concept, 30 seconds, read it. Task can return values after you await a task. Task can return let me decrease my DPI. There we go. Oh, that's too slow now. You should make it a habit to do. Actually, I might really, try that. So task can return values. After you await a task, you can grab its result like this. Async define a number, return 42. Task equals to asyncio dot create underscore task number, and then a result equals to await task. Print result, that is going to be 42. If dunder name equals to, oh, hold on guys, I actually used to do that a lot. If dunder name equals to dunder main, there we go. Yeah guys, this was like a necessity for me to work on in my programming course. I don't know why did I stop doing it. I'm gonna go ahead and return main. There we go. Okay, make this a habit. That does make sense. I'm probably gonna start adding this from from the next upcoming questions here. That said, requirements. Create an async function called, wait, did I read everything? So you can return values after you await a task. You can grab its result like this. Async define get number. Aren't they manually returning something though? I last watched you when you started C++. Keep up the grind. Yo, that actually sounds really cool. I think that was like a long time ago. That said, let's see. So task equals to asyncio dot create underscore task, which is going to be get number. Okay, so we actually get our number, that is 42. Result equals to await task print result. Oh, I see. Okay, now create an async function called fetch underscore temperature, which requires a parameter of a city that waits 2 seconds, then returns city 72. Creates a async function called fetch underscore humidity, which requires city as a parameter, and then waits 3 seconds and returns 60% humidity. In the main function, creates both tasks for Austin, awaits both, prints results. Okay, expected output. Austin has 72 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's pretty mid temperature. Austin is 60 degrees humidity. I see. Hence, result equals to await captures the return value, create both tasks before awaiting either one. Okay, I'm gonna get the instructions in the other window so I can use it. Bro, is it sunlight or tube light coming from the window? It is actually sunlight. Okay, I thought that, like, I have my OBS on here where I do see if my window or if my webcam gets overly, should I say, radioactive, because the sunlight sometimes just lashes on my face. That said, I try to decrease my gain then. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and import something. I'm gonna go ahead and get my instructions up here. Okay, and since I'm gonna work with async IO, I'm gonna go with async IO. There we go. And then let's go ahead and create an async function called fetch underscore temperature. Okay, that requires a parameter of city. Okay, and then I want to wait for 2 whole seconds before I say anything. So I'm gonna await my async IO dot sleep. I'm gonna sleep for 2 seconds, and then we're gonna go ahead and returns the city's temperature. Here's the thing. Why would I return? Returns. Why would, okay, it works like this, but why would I ever want to return something like this? Like, let's go with city. Why not I just use a print statement? We're gonna go with city has, I mean, if the instructions ask for it, so I'll do that. How do you add the degree sign? What buttons do we click to get the degree sign? I know it was something like 09 or something. 0176. There we go. Let's go with 0176. Hold on a damn minute. Did I just get... Okay, wait, hold up. What goes with 0176 to get the degree sign? How did I forget this? Alt plus 0176. So let's go with something like Alt 72 Alt 0176. What the hell? What did I open, guys? Didn't I just add that stuff? Alt 01. I literally just clicked it. Hold on, guys. Let me go back to my asyncio.py. Alright, we need to talk here. Alt 0176. It doesn't work. How do you add the degree sign? Copy paste from Claude the degree sign? I mean, I could do that, but I wanted to know how do you do it. So Windows, press Alt 0176 on the num key. How do you... Oh. Alright, guys, I guess I'll copy it from Claude. It's alright. I mean, it worked before. Why does it not work now? There we go. This is actually an easier way. I could just go online and check it out. That said, once we're done with this, we're going to create another async function. Let's go with async define called fetch humidity, fetch underscore humidity, that requires city as a parameter. Okay, and it waits for 3 seconds. Therefore, I'm going to go with await async io.sleep. It's going to wait for 3 seconds before returning me my city. I'm going to go with f-string. Let's go with something like city has 60% humidity. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and create our main function now. I'm going to create a main coroutine function that is going to go ahead and, let's say, create tasks for both functions. My task 1 is going to be for my fetch. Actually, asyncio dot create underscore task. Okay, the first task is going to be for me to fetch my temperature. Okay, and then my second task, let's go with task 2, is going to be my asyncio dot create underscore tasks method. I want to fetch my humidity after I'm done fetching, or whichever, depending on which is done first. So first my fetch temperature is going to be done, and then my fetch humidity is going to be done. And then I'm going to go with something like await task 1, and then I'm going to go with something like await task 2. Now, here's a thing. It returns that value. I didn't print it. So should I print my task 1 and then print my task 2? Should I do it something like this? There we go. Okay, so should I do something like this? And then I could go with something like asyncio.run. I want to go ahead and run my main function. Let's hit Control S, Control Alt, and I run into an error. All right, before you guys say anything, I added my awaits. Okay, and then I added my asyncio.create, asyncio task 1, task 2. Okay, let's remove that. Maybe because I returned it and I didn't print it. You know what would have actually worked? If instead of returning, I printed this stuff with an F string. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. And this is what would really work. Hold on, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's missing one positional argument. I don't read my errors. That's where I mess up. What the hell? Let's go with something like, I don't know, Austin. And then I'm gonna go with something like Austin. Control S, Control Alt N. Whoops. Control Alt N. There we go. Is it gonna return? I highly doubt. Yeah, I knew it won't return squat. Because in order for it to actually return, I need to print my task 1, and then I need to go ahead and print my task 2. Because let's be honest, without printing, it's not going to return squat. It's going to say it's the memory address. Wait. Can I go with Asyncio? Asyncio dot run, but I don't want to run it. It doesn't print anything because I'm returning. Rather than return, I need to have a print statement. That's literally the only logical thing. And firstly, my mouse's sensitivity and speed is off the roofs right now. This is what's actually going to work. Okay, and then let's see. Austin's is temperature, Austin's is humidity. Lastly, let's go with if Dungeon name equals to Dungeon main. If that is the case, I want to go ahead and display my main function. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab Claude back up here and say, when I returned rather than printing on my coroutine functions, it did not print anything. Obviously, it did not print anything, but I changed it to print now. Okay, here's the thing. Why would I want to print squat? Let's see. I know it's wrong here because I was expected to print something. Hey, I see what you did there. Issue Austin 8. Okay, it's the typo. Again with the typo is issue 2. Bottom of your code, main is in async. You already have asyncio.main above it. This line calls the main without asyncio.run. It does nothing but create a coroutine object. So main. Return here. I did that. Print here. Await results equals to a whoa. Result equals to await task 1. Result equals to await task 1. Okay. Let's go with result equals to await task 1. And what about task 2? Result 1 equals to that. Result 2 equals to that. And then we're going to go ahead and print our result 1. And we're going to go ahead and print our result 2. There we go. Now, apparently this is supposed to do the trick. So I'm going to remove those, and then I'm going to remove that, and then I'm going to remove that. Let's get my Asyncio. This is main function right here. Control S, Control Alt N. None and a none. What the hell? You know what? Let's get that here as well. I just want to see what happens. None and a none. Okay, so I get 2 nuns. Let's hit Control A, Control C, copy that. Let me just go ahead and grab plot up here real quick. Let's paste it and say I get 2 nuns in as my output. And then let's send it real quick. There we go. Okay, so I get 2 nuns. And hold on, guys, what is wrong with my webcam? I'm so dependent on the freaking sunlight that my webcam is either too bright or either too not bright. There we go. I should have said dim. That was the correct word. That's it. Return both. Hold up. So close. I can see what happened, and of course my webcam is too bright here. Speaking of which, let me just grab my bag back there. That was giving me OCD, a tiny bit of bag leaping off. You know what? I think that's so stupid of me. I can just leave my configurations out here. Okay, and then let's hit apply, and then I'm going to hit cancel. I'm just going to keep my configurations up here and always change it. That's it. So we go with C. You're building the string, but not returning it. How stupid? Oh, okay, I am stupid. I was like, how stupid does Club think I really am? Never mind. Asyncio, Control S, Control Alt N. Guys, this is basically silly mistakes at this point. Okay, they both execute at the same time. They both execute at the exact same time. The second, let's see the second issue real quick. The second issue is, okay, I did it and it works, but should I or but am I expected to get both print statements at the same time, question mark, because I get both at the same time? And also, why did we use return and not just rent? Because that is just so much more convenient and easier. That said, let's send it. Because when we return, we gotta go ahead and set that equal to a value and then go ahead and display that value, unless we're not really working with a output in our terminal. Okay, great questions. Why do both appear at the same time? Yes, that's completely expected and actually means your code is working perfectly. Both tasks are running simultaneously in the background. Fetch temperature takes 2 seconds, fetch humidity takes 3 seconds. But here's the thing, you're awaiting task 1 first. Result, task 1 waits until task 2. Okay, waits until 2 seconds. Result 2 already done by then. By the time task 1 finishes at task 2 has been running the whole time too. It only needs 1 more second, so both results are almost together. Both print fires back, that's async working correctly. Why return instead of print? This is so important, listen carefully. Print is a dead end. The data goes to the screen and disappears. No one else can use it. Return gives the data back to the whoever called it so you can actually do things. Hi bro, you hiding Mukesh? Appreciate you joining the stream. Oh, there we go. Okay, result equal to await task 1. If result equals to Austin, blah blah blah, we set our result to a list sent to database. Oh, I see. Guys, I can't really read Hindi. Can you guys translate that in English? Okay, rule to remember, function returns data. Main or the top level prints it. Got it? Now paste your final working code. Okay. And guys, with this, we're gonna officially move on to the next question. Let's say done exclamation. Now let's send it. Okay, let's see. Yo, hello. Alright guys, I guess let's wait for clock to blink. And I do try to use as less tokens as I can. What the hell is wrong with my camera? There we go. Guys, I actually like keeping my configurations on, and am I not in the center of my window? Can I ask you something? Sure, what's up? That's sad. Is it just me, or did Cloud just absolutely ignore me? Perfect code, clean, correct, return values captured, printed from main, exactly how it should be done. Okay. Question 13. Chaining tasks. Finally, we're working with chaining. I did work a little bit with chaining when I was, let's say, having my programming for 250 days series, and I did work with chaining in my C++. I think with my SDL. Yeah, I'm pretty sure with SDL. That was kind of fun. I forgot the concept, so it's going to be a nice little review. Write an async program where the result of one task gets passed into the next task. Requirements: create an async function get underscore user underscore ID that requires a parameter of username, waits 1 second, then returns ID. What up, guys? Is my lips chapped? Okay, and then gets ID. And guys, this is so much convenient. I can just go ahead and decrease my configuration and increase it. Okay, so returns our user ID. Create an async function, get user underscore data, that waits 2 seconds and returns this. As a beginner, want to learn Python, so where I study myself, what's the progress to learn? If you have any playlists, please suggest. Actually, I did watch a couple of YouTubers. Actually, at the start of my Python for 100 Days series, like for the first 20 days, I did watch a YouTuber, but I thought that it didn't help me as much. For me personally, what really helped me was doing a lot of practice questions and following a roadmap. If you do want access to the roadmap, make sure to join my Discord server and either go to the programming or let's say the coding helps us chat or Python helps us chat and mention my name there. I have two different roadmaps. One roadmap is for beginner Python, the other roadmap is advanced Python, which I am currently working on, which is basically for AI engineering. But if you do want to get started with Python, I have the perfect roadmap for you actually. That was the one that I did use for my Python for 100 series as well. That said, and if you do want access to my Discord server, you could get access to it through the link in the description, through the bio, or by typing exclamation Discord on chat or lowercase. Matter of fact, let me type it. There we go. That's gonna go ahead and let's say pop a link up. Okay, I'll get it in both chats. Okay, just give it a quick little minute. Speaking of which, create an async function that is going to be called get underscore user underscore data that waits 2 seconds, returns data for user. Then finally, we create a main coroutine function that creates a task for get underscore user underscore ID, which is going to be requiring a parameter, Austin, awaited, pass the result into a new task for get user data, await that, print the final results, expected output, data for ID underscore Austin. Hence, you need the result of task 1 before you can create task 2. That means create and await task 1 first, then create task 2. This is intentionally sequential, that's the point. I see. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say grab my Claude's other window on my other screen just so I can read the questions. Refresh that. Perfect. There. Okay, now let's go with Control A and delete this. Since I'm going to be working with async.io, I'm going to go ahead and import async.io. And then we're going to create an async function. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and create an async coroutine function, which is going to be called get underscore user underscore ID. That requires a parameter of a username. And then I'm going to go ahead and let's say wait for 1 second. So let's go with async.io dot sleep. Let's go with 1 second. And then I go ahead and return something. I'm going to return an f string that says something like ID underscore username. Wow. Okay, this is a whole different convection that I'm actually working with right now. Is going to be 001. Okay, and then create an async. Guys, is my lips literally chapping inside of my mouth? That said, I'm gonna go with async define. Let's go with get user data. That requires a parameter of user underscore ID that waits for 2 seconds now. So I'm gonna go with something like async.io dot sleep 2 seconds. And then we're gonna go ahead and return an f string called data for user underscore ID. So this is going to be data for user underscore ID. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to go ahead and create another async function called main, which is going to go ahead and create a task. Okay, so create a task for get user ID, awaited, pass the result into the new task get user ID, await, then print the final task. Is AI going to take over the world? Actually, AI will definitely not take over the entire world, and of course, not even over programmers in general. But here's the thing about AI: if the people are actually slacking and not really at the peak of what they do, AI can go ahead and automate the stuff that regular, let's say, junior level or intermediate level programmers actually work with. But it lacks the skill of innovation, so even though it can go ahead and do stuff that is told to do, it cannot really invent new things, if that makes any sense. So that's where critical thinking comes in use, guys. Okay, and for critical thinking, we do still gotta know the basics, but no, AI will not take over the world, guys. It will automate half the things, which is gonna make stuff much more convenient for us. And one more important thing that I actually think of is that we shouldn't think of AI as something bad. Rather, we should think of AI as something that we can use it. Like, if we learn to augment ourselves with AIs, I believe that we can actually, let's say, be even more effective at the stuff that we do. Because let's be honest, back in the days to like search something, we had to Google it all and then read articles. These days, we just ask AI and they do the hard stuff for us. That gives us more time to work on something new. That said, I'm going to go ahead and create task one. You guys could say that I'm biased here, but actually, even if I'm not being biased, I feel like jobs related to AIs are going to be peaking in the future because AI is a relatively new field right now. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of demand for it in the next 5 years. So, you guys got like 5 years to grind right now. That said, I'm going to go ahead and create a task, which is going to go ahead and require a parameter of, let's say, speaking of tasks, hold on, guys, I'm going to increase my gain a little. Gotta have my OBS on at all times to check if my gain is nice. There we go. I wish I had auto configurations. Okay, so we go ahead and create a task here, which is going to go ahead and call my first task, which is get user ID. Okay, that requires a username. I might go with something like Viv Universe. Okay, so that is the user ID. And then next up, await it. So we're gonna go ahead and await our task. Let's go with result one equals to await task one. Yeah, and since I'm returning a value before awaiting it, I do need to store whatever return value I get. Await it, pass it to the new task. Okay, so await it. Oh wait, never mind. I can't go with. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Await it. Pass the result into new task. For get user data. Await that. Print the final result. Okay, so we're gonna go with something like result two equals to await task two. And yeah, I did not really create task two yet. Task two equals asyncio dot create underscore task. Okay, let me decrease my gain a little. What is async IO? Hold on, guys, I'll explain that in a bit. Well, if it's testing at micro level, it's going to create something completely new because we can't test so quick. That does make sense, but here's one more thing. It can only work with the data that it's got unless it has like way too much data that it can start making new things. That's a whole different field, guys, in like the, what's we call it, the agentic AIs section. But that is definitely possible. It's going to be kind of cool. Eventually, it'd be so cool if I could actually make a literal AI that could like stay with us as our personal assistants and like also do these stuff that we tell it to do. Of course, as a partner. That said, okay, now basically what async IO actually does is that it makes stuff more convenient for us to work with. For example, the example that I just gave another guy who asked me was that imagine I'm a waiter and there's a customer. I go and I ask the customer for its order. So I requested something. As soon as I get its order, I move on back to the kitchen and I give the chefs the order that the customer gave me. And then I stand there and I wait for the chef to prepare the dish. Once the dish has been prepared, I grab that dish and give it to the customer. And then I move on to the next customer and repeat the process. That is really ineffective if we're like working with a lot of databases or like a lot of customers. So what async IO actually does is that it gets the order from a customer, gives it to the chef. While the chef is preparing the dish, it goes to the other customer, gets the order, gives the second order to the chef, goes to the third, and once my order number one is done, I'm going to fetch my dish and give it to my customer, if that makes any sense. So nothing is pausing. What's done first is what you call it is given to the customers first. Oh god, it's like execute a few instructions simultaneously. Okay, that was an easier way to put it. What are you making? I'm not making anything right now. I'm working with the basics of AI engineering. Then later on, at like days 300 or like yeah, I think like 300 or like 310, I'm gonna start working on my main project or my main goal, which was to create an agentic AI, like how a GPU operates. Guys, I'm gonna get a GPU soon. That's it. Let me read the instructions. Okay, so we go with something like create task. Of course, I had a typo, and I'm gonna decrease my gain a little as well. There. Okay, now for my create task, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my get user data here. It requires a user ID as a parameter. Oh, wow. My user ID is going to be my task one. Or, well, my result one, I mean. I'm going to copy that and then I'm going to paste it here. And then we await this. Okay, and then we print the final result. Print result 2. I wanted to print result 1 for the fun of it, but it's fine. Then I'm going to go with if dunder name equals to dunder main. I want to go ahead and go with async IO dot run my main function. I spelled them absolutely wrong. A CPU executes instructions in a linear way. Honestly, do you guys think that it's going to be smart for me to learn about hardwares as well? Because I did not really work much with hardwares like CPU, graphics card, and all that. I know how to make a PC using those things, but I can't really tell what they do internally. From what I understand, I see. Now, if I run the program, we get an asyncio dot sleep error enable trees. Now, like when you call a function, did I go with await? There we go. I make this mistake so much, it doesn't help that I talk more than I actually type here. There. Now, data for Viv universe, blah, blah, blah. And then let's go ahead and print my result one as well, just for the sake of it or the fun of it. This is going to give me the ID, Viv universe 1, data for Viv universe 1. Control A, Control C. And now let me go ahead and grab plot up here. Then we're going to go ahead and paste it and say done, exclamation. Guys, I just realized how many questions are 30. There are a lot. Speaking of which, if I were to go ahead and open my roadmap here, what is the next topic that I gotta work with and how long is it gonna take before I'm really done with it? So we got work. Oh wow, I'm still in the second part, guys. I guess a good analogy would be while waiting for a dish to cook, you might clean the dishes. That's actually the perfect way. Okay, that is so much better than the like 5 minutes worth of instructions that I gave, or like the lecture that I gave, like get this order, give it to the chef, get another order, blah blah blah. That was an easier way. I might actually say that to the people. Okay, so next up I gotta work with type hints and pydantic for data validation, virtual environments, and dependency. After we're done with that, that's basically all we need for our advanced Python. What does the await function do? Basically, what the await function does is whenever we're trying to get a program that is supposed to be asynchronous, that is supposed to like do tasks while some other tasks are waiting, we need to make sure to add the wait keyword, because without it, we're going to run into an error. And I have like a better explanation in my notes there. Oh wait, pauses the current coroutine and yields the control back to the events loop until the awaited thing is done. Coroutine functions are basically any functions that has an async in it. So this is considered a coroutine function. And the result of it is always going to be an coroutine. And we gotta always await the coroutines. Oh god, guys, this is getting like a tongue twister. Okay, can only be used inside an async is defined. Python async define example. Okay, await async io dot sleep pause here. Let the other coroutines run. Oh, so basically what a coroutine is, I mean, basically what the await function does is that while my sleep.1 is still in progress, while my let's say, let's pretend this was 10 seconds. While this function is still waiting, I won't stop here. I'm going to move on to the next coroutine function. So my longest the program would ever take is the one that takes the longest time to really give a result, if that makes any sense. Oh, I noticed you switched away from JetBrains. Why? Oh, you mean like Pygame? I mean PyCharm? I don't really know why, because I would have used PyCharm, but I thought that I already had Visual Studio installed, and I was like, might as well use Visual Studio. That said, I think that was pretty much it, right? I'm gonna go ahead and grab Cloud here. All right, guys, question 14. We got like 16 more questions to go. With the hell? Task cancellation, quick new concept. There are a lot of concepts in these coroutine functions. Oh god. You can cancel a running task manually using cancel or the dot cancel method. Task equals to asyncio dot create underscore task some coroutine. Task dot cancel cancels it. When you cancel the task, when cancel, the task raises asyncio cancel error inside itself. You can catch it. Try await task except asyncio dot cancel error. Print the task was cancelled. Okay, the code editor, yeah. I mean, PyCharm is actually really, really good, but I think that since Visual Studio Code does the same exact thing, I was like, might as well use it. Next up, requirements. Create async function called long operation that prints operation started. Waits 10 seconds, prints operation done. In the main function, create the task, waits 2 seconds, cancel it, then catch the cancel error and print operation cancelled. Operation started, operation cancelled. Hint, blah blah blah. Okay. Alright, this shouldn't be that hard to be honest. I'm gonna get the instructions in my other window just so I can use it as a reference. While I'm at it, I'm also gonna decrease some of my gain because why is it so bright? There we go, it's much better. Okay, now I'm gonna read the instructions. There. Again, since I'm working with async IO, I'm gonna go with async IO. And then I'm gonna create an async coroutine function called long underscore operation. And also, speaking of which, I just realized it's been so long since we last spoke. How are you doing, Formidable Thunder? Okay, and then let's go with long operation that prints something like operation started. Dot dot dot. And then we're gonna wait for 2 seconds. So I'm gonna wait for async io dot sleep 10 seconds. Yeah, I meant 10 when I said 2. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create a main async coroutine function. Okay, that creates the task. So we're gonna go with something like async io async io dot create underscore task. I want to create a task for my long operation. Okay, that is not going to require any parameters, although I'm going to wait for 2 seconds, then cancel it. We wait for 2 seconds and then we cancel it. Here's the thing. Bro, what happened to your game development? That was actually just a series. So it was called My Programming for 250-Day series, where my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general that consisted of AI logic in it. I was done with that. You guys can get access to my game by typing or actually through the link in my bio. I just need to make sure. What happens if I type exclamation itch? Will this give me my itch's link? I'm pretty sure not. I forgot to set it. Hello, bro. I need to ask something. What's up, Burnt? Okay, let's see. Let's go with task one. Yeah, guys, I don't really have my itch's link, but well, if you guys do want access to it, you guys can. Let me grab this here. Okay, you guys can go ahead and move on to my channel here, and under the more, y'all can find my. Where is my itch.io? There is no way I didn't set it up here. Maybe in my description. You guys most likely get the gist of it. It's seriously not in my bio. What the hell? Guys, I'm selling out here. Hold on, let me add in my bio right now. Okay, and then I can go here. When do you start coding actually? When did I actually start coding? Okay, so basically when I actually did start was in my oldest stream, which was 9 months ago. Add 2 more months to this, so 9. Actually, let's go to my videos. So in my videos, there we go. So I started coding 11 months ago. This was basically the first ever time when I started my Python for 100 series. It's a very bad video because my mic wasn't that good and all that stuff. But yeah, that was basically it. I uploaded this video 7 days after I was done because I used to give you guys a weekly update as to when I started programming or not. That's it. Gonna go ahead and work on the question. And guys, yeah, I did not really have my h.io's link right here, but I can actually upload it on chat just for today, and then later I'll add it back. I might go ahead and click my project, copy that. There we go. Okay, that is the link to the game if you guys actually want to check it out, or I have an entire YouTube video on that as well, and also a stream. Speaking of which, I'm going to create a task here. Okay, wait 2 seconds. So I'm going to go with await async io dot sleep. I'm going to go ahead and sleep for 2 seconds, and then we're going to go ahead and catch the cancel error. Okay, cancel it after 2 seconds. So I'm going to go with task one dot cancel. And next up, we're going to go ahead and try something. I'm going to try. Wait, we're supposed to try our catch, right? Hold on a minute. Let's go ahead and try this. Okay, so we're going to try that, and I'm going to go ahead and accept my cancel error. Is this not like a legitimate error name? What the hell? Cancel error is not legitimate. Oh, maybe. Async IO. There we go. This makes so much more sense. So it's async IO's cancel error. In this, I'm going to go ahead and print operation cancel. CANCELLE. There we go. So operation cancelled, expected output, yada yada. Therefore, let's go with something like if dunder name equals to dunder main, I'm gonna go ahead and go with my async io dot run. I want to run my main function. So operation started. Wow, it just started. So what do you do? Are you working professional or a student? If you're a student, which class/year are you in? Actually, I am like a student, which we call it now. I'm a freshman for now. That said, yeah, and when I say freshman, I basically mean that the stuff that I'm learning right now, or the stuff that I work on my stream, is completely different from what I really work on my college. In my college, I'm an absolute beginner. On stream, I have almost a year worth of experience. Next month is officially going to be a year-long anniversary of me programming. What should I do for it? Maybe nothing actually. Okay, and then we create our task one, and then mm, it didn't really cancel my task, did it? Operation started, and you started from scratch just 11 months ago, and now you code everything on your own. That's incredible consistency. Honestly, that does actually mean the world to appreciate you, Burn. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. I'm not really as familiar with these syntaxes here. Like, what the hell? Wait. Okay, so I did await that. You know what? My bad. I should have awaited that. Yeah, if we don't await stuff, we get all sorts of errors. That is task one dot cancel. Okay, and then we await that. Cancel then await task one inside try slash accept. Hmm. So try await task. Okay, so wait, we try await task. Async neo, some coroutine function, and then we go with something like cancel. Okay, it's all correct. Why do I get this error? Task one is not defined. Oh, guys, I'm so stupid. What the hell? Okay, this is basically this is just syntactual error. This gets better with more practice. Go with Control Alt N. Operation started. Operation no Okay, the program is going to run for like 10 whole seconds, I think. Wow, the 10 second gives no attribute. Your Instagram link in bio isn't working actually? Really? You could try exclamation Instagram Stagram. There we go. I think the bio one is outdated. I gotta update that. Okay, this should work actually. Like if you click that, there we go. Okay, that works. Let's exit it. Okay, now let's see. Create the task, wait 2 seconds, cancel it, and then catch it. So I created a task. I waited 2 seconds. Okay. I want to await it here. I did actually await it here, didn't I? And then accept async io.cancel error operation canceled. I did it, but I don't really get a cancel error. Let me grab plot up here real quick, and then I'm gonna paste it and say, I feel like I messed my syntaxes up, question mark. And then let's send it. Okay, this shouldn't be as hard as it looks like it is. Yes, you did, but you spotted it yourself, blah, blah, blah. Await operation. This waits for the entire task to fully finish before moving on to the next line. So task 1.cancel never gets reached. Task 1 already ran completely. Create task. Task 1, go with async IO, log operation, await. Task 1.cancel, await task 1. Sets in background, let's do second cancel, let's await it here. Okay, so it's basically task 1, and then we sleep it, we cancel it, and then we try. Basically, where I messed up here was that above the, I'm gonna add pass as a placeholder for now. Now, above my try and accepts, we go with async io dot, did I already forget what the hell? Okay, so firstly, we're gonna await our task. I'm gonna go with task 1 equals to async io dot create underscore tasks function. I'm gonna go ahead and create a task here, which is gonna go ahead and be my long underscore operation. There we go. Now, my long operation task, once it's created, I'm going to go with await async io dot sleep. I want to wait for 2 seconds after my task has started. And then after the 2 seconds, I want to cancel my task 1. I spelled it wrong, didn't I? There we go. I want to cancel my task 1. Then I want to try to await my task 1, because this is where I'm going to go ahead and run into an error. If I ran into an async io.cancel error, it says operation canceled. If I were to run the program, op started, op canceled. Okay, it works, but I got help with this question, so I don't really take full credit for it. Word exclamation. I see how cancel works now. Okay, let's see the next question. Yo, how you doing, Anime Haven? I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, quick recap. What you just learned: create underscore task, never await on creation. Await async io.sleep, give the task time to run first, and then task.cancel, send the cancellation signal. Await task inside try/except. That's where you catch it. Question 5. Task cancellation with cleanup. Requirements: create an async function called download underscore file that prints downloading. File name prints file name, download complete. And then in the main function, start the task, wait for 3 seconds. Why the frick you use Claude in light mode? Because I don't really have my Windows key, so it can't really be converted to dark mode. And I have been doing this for I think about half a year now. I've been using it in light mode, so I can actually see this stuff. Speaking of this, the brightness is by God so low. Can you guys actually see me change my brightness? Oh wait, you guys can because of my webcam. Let me hide it. There we go. If I do that, oh, you guys cannot see. I think that's the stuff that only the bios can see it. But yeah, my brightness is really low right now, so I think that kind of adds up for that. But I hate light mode as well. That said, in the main function, start the task, wait 3 seconds, cancel it, catch the cancelled error, and print download cancel, cleaning up the file name, expected output, downloading report.pdf, download cancel, cleaning up the report.pdf. Alright guys, let me get the instruction in the other window. Is it just me or is it actually getting really hot? Do you stream every day? Yeah, I do stream every single day. If you guys do want to get updated for whenever I stream or not, I always mention you guys on my Discord server whenever I go live. For example, if I were to open my Discord server right here, and you guys could move on to my horizontal stream if you guys want to see my entire window. That said, just grab that up. There we go. Okay, in the announcements, exit that there. So every single time when I go live, the number of days is sort of written here and all that stuff. And for all my streams, I do mention you guys and all that. But one really important thing when you guys really join the Discord server and don't do is that you guys don't get roles. You guys will not be able to have access to most of these channels here if you guys don't have the roles. For example, in the John Browser's channel, if you guys only have the gaming lovers as well, you guys will only have access to my gaming chat. If you guys have only coding lovers as well, you guys are going to have access to all the coding chats, the coding help chat, and the coding voice chats. Universal chat is for general. Oh, where's your Discord's link? You guys can get access to the Discord by typing exclamation Discord on chat and through the description and the bio. And the exclamation Discord is going to be all lowercase. Let me actually type it. There we go. That said, moving on to the question now. Let me get the instructions there. There we go. Okay. Guys, I'm kind of out of breath. What the hell? Actually, I'm not really out of breath. It's just pretty hot out here. Let me go ahead and open this real quick and drink some water. Speaking of which, if you guys do want to also get access to my roadmap that I'm currently using for this series, you guys could either go to the Coding Helps Us chat or Python Helps Us chat. My bad, guys. You guys could either go to the coding help desk chat or the Python chat and mention my name there at Viv Universe and ask me for the roadmap. I will be personally DMing you guys the roadmap. That said, let me just accept that. Okay, let's go ahead and work on the question number 15, right? Halfway there, guys. 15 more questions to go. Since I'm going to be working with async.io, I'm going to go ahead and import async.io, and then I'm going to create an async coroutine function called download underscore file, which is going to be requiring a parameter of a file name. And then I'm going to go ahead and print downloading file name, which is going to be like an F string. There we go. Downloading a of curly braces file name. That is going to go ahead and wait for 10 whole seconds. Async.io dot sleep 10 seconds. And yeah, I know, I forgot to await. There we go. Okay, and then once we're done with that, it prints file complete. Aren't you learning Python for web dev? Actually, I'm learning Python for being an AI engineer. Actually, my current CV that I'm working on right now is AI engineering for 365 days, where my goal by the end of this series is to make an agentic AI. And in case you guys aren't like familiar with agentic AI, they're completely automated AIs that work based on all the data that they have, as opposed to following the rules that we tell them to follow. Are you learning Python or web dev? I'm actually working with Python. I'm learning Python right now. That said, let's go with something like print. My file name, downloaded, complete. Okay, let's go with something like download, complete, exclamation. All right, guys, it's getting really hot here. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and create a main function. So async, a main coroutine function that is going to go ahead and start the task. So I'm going to go with task 1 equals to my async.io dot create underscore task, which is going to have a coroutine parameter of my download. Oh god, of my download underscore file that requires a file name, which is going to be called something like report. I don't know, what is my file name going to be? Can you use NumPy? Actually, I was going to work with NumPy back in my Python for 100 series, but I started a brand new series. Although hopefully hopefully for this series, since I am working more with Python, I will be working with NumPy. I'm 100% sure that I will work with machine learning and all that stuff. But if NumPy is in my roadmap, then I'm going to work with it. If it's not, then I could later on have a mini series, because I always wanted to try like NumPy's pandas and turtle. There we go. NumPy's pandas and turtles. I wanted to try the 3 of those. That said, why am I talking so fast? Okay, because these days I do like try talking a little bit slower as opposed to my previous streams where I used to like just gamble on. That said, I'm gonna create a main function, start the task, wait 3 seconds. I'm gonna wait my async.io for 3 seconds. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and cancel it. So I'm gonna go with task 1 dot cancel. Okay, now canceling does give me an async.io's cancel letter, so I gotta catch that. Can I see our roadmap? Actually, it's right here. I can show it to you guys on stream as well, but if you guys do want the entire roadmaps as PDF, you guys can either go to my coding helps us chat or Python chat in my Discord server and mention my name there. I will be personally DMing you guys the roadmap. But this is a roadmap that I'm currently working with. It says I'm currently on my async.io. Next topic is going to be type-ins and Pydantic for data verification. Hand gestures are funny. Actually, because I think they're really, really funny. This guy is insane. Guys, insane is kind of crazy. I will be working with pandas. I did not know that. Wow. Okay, so we're going to work with cleaning, merging. reshaping data, and then polars, faster alternative, increasingly standard in production. And then we're going to work with databases, SQL mastery, okay. NoSQL, basic for Mongo databases, and then ORMs. I haven't actually heard half the stuff here. That said, oh no, we're gonna work with linear algebra. Okay, it's not like I hate algebra, I'm just bad at math. I guess it's gonna be a fun little time there. And then we're gonna start with classical machine learning. Wow. And then model evaluation. I've never seen those functions before. Those functions? Do you mean like, wait, let me just go through the entire roadmap. There's tensors, data sets, training loops, building networks from scratch, the transformer architecture, and then we have RAG. I have heard about RAG, but I haven't ever tried it. And then hybrid search, graph RAG, RAG evaluation, multi-modeling RAG. What the hell is RAG? There are so many RAGs here. Finally, like 75% of my way till the end of this roadmap, we're gonna start working with local LLMs. OLAMA, VLLM, blah blah blah. I'm just gonna quickly skip over everything. Python functions LLM can trigger, memory systems, agent safety LLM, cloud deployment, Git, GitHub, all those basic things. Wow, this is a long roadmap. That's it. If you guys do want it, make sure to go to my Discord server, the Coding Hamsters chat, Python chat, mention my name, then I will personally DM it to you guys. Okay, now about the question, about the comment that I've never seen those functions before. Do you mean these async functions? They're called coroutine functions. They're mostly used when it comes to let's say receiving data without really stopping and waiting for the data. For example, I'm going to give you the same example that I give everyone. Imagine that a bartender and I'm going to a table and asking you what order do you want to give me. When you give me an order, I go to the head chef and give the order to the head chef. While the head chef cooks, I wait there. Once the let's say head chef is done cooking, I'm going to grab the meal and come up and give it to you. Why would bartender grab a meal? Let's say grab the alcohol and then give it to you, or you guys get the gist of it. But that's a really bad way to work with this stuff. But then when we work with async define a coroutine function, async define basically creates a coroutine function. It's called an asynchronous way. So when we use these kind of functions, I go ahead and ask a order, give it to the head chef. While the head chef is actually preparing the dish, I go to the next customer, get the order for the next customer, again go back to the head chef, so on and so forth. Which work is done first? I give that customer their order first, if that made any sense. Because when working with like LLM models and all that stuff, you want to go ahead and grab the data that you receive first and not wait on the data that comes before it. Guys, I make that sound so complicated. That said, let's work on this function now. So we go ahead and cancel it, and then let's catch an error. So I'm gonna try now. Let's go with try. Let's try my task 1. Because when we cancel a coroutine function, we get an async io.cancel error, so I want to catch that. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and accept async io dot canceled error. There we go. It's not canceled, it's canceled. So basically, you've been learning Python for over a month, actually just 8. Here's the thing, I have already worked with Python for my Python for like 100 series where my goal was to make a game. I did make a game using PyGames back then, but that was mostly software development and actually game development, and if I were to be more specific. But the game development is completely different from what I'm working on right now. So you could say that I've been working with Python for like 8 days for the time being. Although the syntaxes are similar, just the context functions and the way I program is different, if that makes any sense. Guys, I think I should work on my phrasing. Speaking of which, and print, download cancelled. There we go. Cleaning up. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with something like my file name. Okay, this is supposed to be an F string in that case because I do require file name as a parameter. Mm. Task 1, can I use this as a function? Download cancelled. Cleaning up file name. How the... This is not an object. I can't really go with my file name unless it's not passed in as a parameter. Cleaning up my task 1, which is going to return my file name. So you're also a software engineer as well. Actually, I do have like a lot of software engineering should I say experience, but then for the time being, let me just go with something like report. Yeah, but then I'm not going to be having that much knowledge about it in the future because right now I did work with SDL3, Unreal Engine, and regular C++ as well. But then for my AI stuff and all that, like for the AI engineering, I think that I will rarely be working with game engines or like graphics libraries and all that stuff. Hopefully, I get to work with Unreal Engine again because I sort of liked how that works, and I spent a lot of days working with Unreal Engine. Have you not been working on C++? I did actually, because back in the days, I thought that game AI and generated AI were the same exact thing. But then 150 days in my programming for 250-day series, one of you guys did point out and tell me that generated AI is different from game AI. That's when I was like, oh shoot, I wanted to go with generated AI because initially my goal was to make an AI who I could actually talk with inside my game. It's like a brand new player. And that was way too ambitious at the time. But I thought it was possible. Like, have you guys ever heard of the Arkinator where you give it a word and it tries to guess it? Something like that. But then that was too complex. Later, I realized that I didn't really like game development. I just liked the AI part of game development. So I thought to work with AI engineering and give it a try. Speaking of which, cleaning up. Okay, we have .pdf, prints downloading file name. Okay, we have downloading file name, then main. It catches the error and prints download cancel. Wow, amazing stuff. That actually sounds kind of cool, guys. That said, guys, game development is one of the most tedious stuffs. It doesn't look that hard, but it's actually really hard. When I first worked with it, I realized that, let's go with PDF. Okay, I thought that it's not going to be that hard because it's basically just adding game and some code, but no. You need to add the actual sound effects, the VFX, the walk steps, and like every micro detailing that happens in the program. That was really hard. And since I was like a solo developer that I had to make all those sound effects myself, I'm gonna upload a video on like my one stream where I did actually voice act for all my actors in the game or for all my sound effects in the game. And that was absolutely hilarious. I became a whole R radio guy back then. Better than analyzing stresses on bridge than drawing sheer stress and bending moment. Ooh. Okay, you know what? I may be thinking the same thing right now because I still am a beginner when it comes to AI engineering. For all I know, it could be equally as hard or potentially even worse than game development. Okay, file name needs to be accessible inside your file name needs to be accessible. Everything else you already know. So file name is supposed to be accessible, right? How about this? How about I return? Hmm, I can't really return, right? File name. I want it to be accessible. Diagrams? Huh, that does make sense. That said, you know what? I won't make it accessible for now. I'm just gonna check it out. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go with something like if dunder name equals to dunder main. I want to go ahead and let's say call my main function. Nope. I want to go with asyncio dot run. I want to run my main function through my asyncio. Downloading report. Download cancel cleaning up report.pdf. But I sort of did hard code my report because I don't really know how to give it access. So I may actually move on up here. Then let's paste it and say something like let's say I mean, it did work, but I hard coded my file name. There we go. But I hard coded my file name. I did not know how to pass it. And then let's send it. And guys, I think 15 questions is like my limit for this stream here. That said, good that you caught it. And also because I am going to be recording my programming for 250-day series part 7, which covers from days 151. Really depends. I usually go in like increments of 25 days, but then I'm almost out of my summer break and I need to start my college soon as well. So I got a pre-study. So I might go with days 150, time lapse all the way till day 200 or something like that. Really depends. I want to be done with my montage review ASAP. That said, file name equals to report.pdf, task 1, file name. Oh, we don't hard code it. Report.pdf. Okay, and then this is going to be my file name. Guys, that was so stupid of me. I do know how to do this. This proves that I'm exhausted out here. And then this is going to be my file name. There. Control S, Control Alt N. Downloading report.pdf. Download cancel, cleaning up report.pdf. Where there wasn't any cleaning up to be done here, but you know, it's alright. Let's paste it and say something like done exclamation. I get the gist of it, guys. Logic is perfect. You nailed the file name variables. Okay, both places where it appears, go. But download underscore file is still in there. The same typo from last 3. Oh god. Of course, that's my typos. Download underscore file. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. And then we have a download. Okay, downloading report.pdf. There. Guys, this is one thing that I sort of love about Claude is that it's so picky when it comes to seeing my code and all that stuff. Let me say done. It wants me to have no typos and it needs to be exactly as the instructions asked it to be. You've completed questions 9 through 15. Look at what you did today. Now, how did it know that I was going to end? Guys, does Claude have access to my microphone or something? How did it know that I was actually exhausted? 7 questions in one stream. You showed up, you grinded, blah blah blah. Now, before you go, do you want to keep going with question 16? Call it here. Get your transfer prompt plus section notes. I think option B because I am sort of tired and that I need to record another video. Okay, and then let's send it. And yeah, I'm gonna get a transfer prompt and all that so I can give it to the other chat. Speaking of which, why did I open my DaVinci? Oh, God, what is wrong with my Unreal Engine configurations? Hold on a damn minute, guys. There we go, much better. And then I'm gonna go to my main camera. Let's hit apply first, and then let's exit that. Then I'm gonna hit OK. Perfect. Let's go to my main camera. Alrighty, guys, what is wrong with my webcam again? Oh my gosh. Guys, every time I gotta go to configure video and like decrease it, I wish I had like auto configure or something. That said, that was basically it for the stream. If you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe with the notifications bell turned on, and also share this stream or my channel in general because liking helps my algorithm, sharing makes it smile, subscribing to get turned up. The sun is ruining my also perfect intro out here. By the way, I am trying a new intro by saying that smash that like button. Back in the days, I used to be like, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Of course. Guess we gotta decrease our exposure to the negatives. Now, before the sun goes, and also, I will start montage streaming on Twitch and take if I did need the followers a requirement. No, I will start streaming on Twitch and Kik once I get a better graphics card, which I will be getting relatively sooner. If you guys do want to know the current specs that I'm using for my PC, make sure to type exclamation specs on chat, all lowercase. It's going to show you all my specs. That said, I will start streaming on Instagram and TikTok as well if I did meet the followers requirements. If you guys really enjoy my content and haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio. And you guys can get access to my Instagram or socials in general by typing exclamation alongside the socials' name. If my social does exist, it's gonna go ahead and give you guys a link. If it does not exist, it's just gonna not give you guys anything. And the link, I mean, the socials' name is supposed to be all in lowercase. And also join my Discord server. That's where I usually talk to you guys, chat with you guys, have general conversation with you guys. The link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio. You guys can get access to my Discord server by typing exclamation Discord on chat, all lowercase as usual. And if you guys do wanna, join me in my AI engineering for 365 days series, and you guys want the roadmap that I'm actually using for it, you guys can go to either my coding helps chat or Python's chat and mention my name there at Viv Universe and ask me for the roadmap. I will be personally DMing you guys my roadmap. That said, I'll catch you guys next live stream or video. Peace. Okay, wow, the sunlight had to go now. Okay, I guess let's end the stream.